The Indian government has come up with a very bold vision to have housing for all by 2022. It's something which every Indian dreams of, to have a house of his own. To turn this dream into reality, at KPMG we tied up with Naredco to do a study in terms of what are the funding requirements and what is this challenge all about to get housing for all by 2022. And we found out that to convert this dream into reality, there would be a need for about $2.5 trillion of investment to come in over the next 8 years to get the urban housing requirement met. There is a shortage of about 2 crores of houses at the urban level at the current time, and when you look at the next 8 years, this problem is going to get compounded, and one is looking to construct almost 11 crore houses both for urban and rural areas, and this would require substantial investment to come in there. To put this into context, in the last 7 years, from FY08 till FY14, we've seen an investment of about $1 trillion. A single $1 trillion has got invested in the real estate sector, which has been contributed through household savings, through private investments, through private equity placements, and also through institutional lending. But institutional lending has been at a low level of 11% from banks and about 8% from the housing finance companies. And at an overall level, we noted that the exposure of the banks, the outstanding loan exposure to the real estate sector from the banks is only at about 4% for the overall total credit outstanding of the bank there. From the report that we prepared, we noted 5 key findings or 5 key things in there. First of all, the timing is very crucial. A real estate project typically takes 7 to 8 years, from the start to completion, with 2 to 3 years for approvals and the balance time for construction. Keeping that in mind, getting about 11 crore houses constructed at the end of 2022 as a ready state would mean that the action has to start now, and the government will have to look at it from the next 8 to 18 months, with the budget in the March being very crucial, and then the next 10 months more in that aspect of it, to see that we are able to streamline approval process, we are able to streamline how the funding will have to come to this sector, from that perspective. The second thing which is very important to consider here is that out of the $2.5 trillion which is required over the next about 8 years to complete this requirement, $1 trillion alone is required in the EWS and LIG section. And EWS and LIG section, the social section from a sector perspective, also requires a strong ecosystem to develop, from the point of view of ensuring that there is funding available to the buyer as well, from the point of view of extending the loan outreach to sections of society who do not have appropriate documentation or to be able to follow a loan process or loan approval process which a traditional bank would want to follow there. So there has to be a new mechanism being put in place to see that there is a funding which can be extended to that section of society as well. From the third perspective, it is important to see that there is a need for a very strong and a quick realization of rationalization taxes which are impacting the sector currently. Almost 32 to 35% is something which of a cost of the house is going into taxes, with different form of taxes, whether from a central perspective to a state or to a municipal level, with direct and indirect tax coming there. This requires simplification, especially from a EWS and LIG perspective, to be able to make a housing cheaper and affordable over there. Fourth, one will have to look at it that to be able to construct the houses in a quicker and speedier manner, there would be a need to relook at the construction technology we deployed, for construction of these houses. The traditional approach of constructing the houses will not be cost effective for constructing houses in such a large manner. And there are technologies available in terms of precasting and pre-constructed houses. One will have to explore that and also make those lucrative for the developers to adopt, and also create certain mechanisms wherein we are able to create a workforce also which is able to carry out those activities from a developer perspective there. So there is this need for a strong ecosystem to develop around the affordable housing itself over there. Fifth, very important point is that there is an asset liability mismatch with respect to the way the bank finances or the private equity is financing real estate currently. Because of the fact that the project life cycle is about 7 to 8 years, typical loan lending sources are available for 4 to 5 years, and which means that developer has to churn its loan or borrowing multiple times before the project gets completed. And to be able to mitigate that, long-term sources of funding which could be in terms of the bonds for housing, or in terms of other funds sources which are available. So a mechanism needs to get adopted to see that one is able to meet the long-term funding requirements from a real estate sector by creating dedicated sources of long-term funding for the sector. In summary, since the sector NPAs also have been at the lowest, at about 1 to 2% from an overall sector perspective, it's one big expectation from the government would be to see that we are able to have more funds channelized into the sector through the commercial banks, and also look at the streamlining of the approval process, which will help in ensuring that there is no blockage of funds as well as fund availability at the right time.